Okay.
Fabulous. So, welcome all to the Shepperton 24-hour swim relay briefing. So, we'll just start by introducing the Level Water team who are here. So, I am Angela and I am the event manager for the swim for the event. And I have not been at Level Water for very long at all, just over a month, I think. But I have been handed over to very thoroughly. So, hopefully, I will know the answers to all your questions. But let's hand over to Lucy and you can introduce yourself.
Thanks, Angela. I am Lucy. I'm really looking forward to my fifth Shepperton with Level Water. I'm the COO for the charity, and yeah, incredibly excited to meet you at the lake soon, in a few weeks' time, which is exciting.
Andy?
Hi guys, yeah, I'm Andy. I'm fundraising director at Lower Water. I'm also pretty new, so I think you'll start to see a theme emerge. I've been with the charity about 6 months, so this will be my first Wild Swim Relay, Shepperton, in a couple of weeks. But I cannot wait. Really excited to get down there.
And Jasmine.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Jasmine. I am also quite new, fundraising coordinator here at Level Water. So any of the emails from fundraising coming your way have probably been coming from me. And yeah, I'm so excited to meet you all down in Shepperton. It's going to be so much fun, and I just really can't wait to get stuck in.
Fab. It's probably worth me saying that I've also swum Shepperton. So I did it in the first year and the second year that it ran, so sort of 5 years ago. So I've seen it from a swimmer's side. So yeah, that should help my knowledge and understanding of what's going to be happening. So, obviously, amazing. Thank you for joining us today and for supporting Level Water. So, I can see you're all on mute. So, if we can just keep it on mute for the moment while we're talking, but later on, we'll either get you to unmute or if we can get you to put questions in the chat box, then we'll make sure they all get answered. And we've got lots of links we'll be sharing with you as well. But most of the information we're going to share with you is already on your swimmers information page. But we're not going to go through all of it in all the detail because that would be too much. But we will share, some of the key and most important bits of information. So let me start with the swimmers sort of information. So the first thing to say is that we'd really like you to arrive between about 8 and 10 a.m. on the Saturday morning. The registration desk is going to open at 9. And what we really need is for the person who's swimming first in your relay team to have registered by 11 o'clock. It doesn't matter if everyone else in the team isn't there or hasn't registered. They can register a bit later if needed, but as long as the person who's swimming first has registered, that would be really useful. And then we will get everyone together who is there. Hopefully everyone who's swimming will all be there and we can get everyone together at 11:30 to do your swimmer briefing. So we expect as many people as of you as possible to be there, and that's when we'll go through all the safety information and a bit more details about exactly how the swim will work, and you can see the lake and see what's about to happen. What we need is that the your first swimmer is there at 11:30 at the briefing, ready to swim, because once we finish that briefing, that first swimmer will be ready to go at 12 o'clock. So that's when we will get everyone in, the first swimmers in the lake and kicked off. Obviously, once we start swimming, we'll have this hourly rotation where just before the hour, about 10 to the hour, these safety kayaks on the lake will start telling people to start leaving the lake for the end of that hour, and they will check out and hand over their coloured wristband as their baton to the next person in their team, who then checks in. And then once we've been told by the safety kayaks that everyone's allowed to enter the water, the next group of swimmers will start entering and starting their hour. So we will then keep that rotating each hour for the next 24 hours. In terms of more detail on sort of safety, we will do that on the day, as I said. But one of the most important things that is useful for everyone to know is about needing to have lights for the overnight swims, which will be between about 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. Obviously, it's the longest day on the Sunday. So we've got quite a short night. But still, we will need sort of adventure lights there to help you be seen during the night. So a white light to go on your goggles or on the back of your hat somehow, and then a coloured light to go in or on your toe float somehow. So that's sort of one of the important safety things to know about in advance, so that you make sure you've got a set of lights for your team. You can share them between your team and hand them over in your changeovers if necessary. And then another important update in terms of safety is that we're requiring all swimmers to use tow floats throughout the whole event, no matter whether it's skins or wetsuits or daytime or nighttime. Most of our lakes, including Shepperton, require all their swimmers to use tow floats. So that is something to bear in mind if it's not something you already have, to make sure that you've got tow floats that can be used by everyone in the team. And if the weather allows and if our safety team allows, then quite often for the last hour of the event, the whole team has the opportunity to go into the water together and to swim the last hour as a team. In which case, if you want to do that, then obviously every member of your team will need a tow float. So that's just something to bear in mind, that is slightly different from previous years and might be slightly different to information that you've seen in the past. Just moving on to weather, which is obviously something that everyone always asks us about, and that people want to know what's going to be happening. It's 2.5 weeks away. We don't know at this point. I mean, it looks like it will be cool and maybe dry, but we don't know. We're going to keep an eye on that. We will communicate nearer the time via email, via WhatsApp, what the weather's going to be looking like. But I think the best advice is just to pack for everything. Pack for sunshine, pack for rain like last year, cold, all the different weathers, and make sure you bring lots of warm clothes. Hot water bottles are brilliant. The evenings and overnight will very likely get cool, even if it's a lovely warm day. It is still only June, despite all the lovely heat waves of last week. And then the other thing to consider in terms of weather is we will make a decision on the day if there is bad weather of any sort and we need to suspend the swimming. If that is either for high winds or heavy rain, or there's a thunderstorm or there's lightning on the way, then we will have to suspend swimming briefly for as long as there's a storm and get everyone out of the water, just to be on the safe side. And I think that was as much of a quick, speedy through overview of some of the important logistics. And I can see that Jasmine has just put the link into the event info into the chat. So that is where all that information is in more detail. But what I think I'll do now is hand over to Lucy, who can tell us a bit more about volunteering and a few other things that she knows lots about.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you. And yes, please do read the link. So effectively, everything Wild Swim Relay related will be on that page. So do have a read. If you have any other questions, though, that aren't answered there or not answered today, and perhaps you think of something in a couple of days, please do feel free to email swim@levelwater.org, and Ben will get back to you as soon as he can. Just a couple of points on sections that Angela just noted. For the lights overnight, don't panic if you don't have one or you forget one on the day, because we will be selling them at registration. So there's an opportunity to kind of purchase them if any break or get lost or whatever. Same with tow floats as well. We'll have some to purchase at registration on the day too. And also, just for weather, yeah, even in June, if it's boiling hot in the day, sometimes at night it can get a bit cold. So make sure you bring layers. We have actually got loads of hot water bottles. So we have some stored up at registration. If you forget yours, come to Reg and say, have you got any spare ones kicking about? We'll have hot water kind of basically on tap all through the 24 hours. So if you ever get out and you feel cold and you just want a hot water bottle and a dry robe, we've got some dry robes, we've got some hot water bottles, and come and warm up at registration next to the fire overnight. Because yeah, who doesn't love sitting next to the fire with a hot water bottle and a dry robe, basically? And if for whatever reason you feel kind of too cold or whatever, we've got our medics right there by registration, by swim out. So as soon as you come out of the water, if you need anything at all, they're right there. Friendly faces. We've worked with them for years, and they're a wonderful team. So yes, volunteers. Chris, you mentioned you might have some volunteers, and you've obviously volunteered before, which is fantastic. So our Wild Swim Relays don't really work that well without volunteers, because the volunteers really make them come to life. And we have various different roles throughout the 24 hours, basically. So if you said to us, you know what, I have an hour, I'd love to volunteer for you for an hour, we'll always be able to find you a little job, a little lovely job next to the lake, welcoming swimmers out of the lake, or perhaps filling up the hot water urns or filling up the water bottles, or yeah, perhaps kind of going to check the car park for us, or various little things. There's always a job at the wonderful Wild Swim Relays. So if you did want to just volunteer for an hour, fantastic. Come to registration and we can definitely sign you up. Um, Friendly faces all round for Wild Swim Relays from the second you arrive to the second you end. So, any kind of extra energy that you have, please do come and volunteer, because our swimmers would love to hear from you and see you. We have high vis vests. So for those who've been there before, we have pink high vis vests and yellow high vis vests. So if you see anyone with a high vis vest, they're volunteering. If you wanted to come and volunteer, ping one of them and they'll help you get signed up. We have a link that I think Jasmine is going to send through shortly for the fundraiser hub, and you can sign up effectively to volunteer ahead of time. So if you had anyone in your household cooking you dinner that wanted to volunteer, you can sign up ahead of time, and also on the day too. Accessibility. So we're very grateful for all of our swimmers who head to our Wild Swim Relays, and we have lots of swimmers with lots of various accessibility needs coming to the lake. So we always want to accommodate anything that you have that you might think perhaps it's out, going to need a little bit of extra care and attention. Ben will email you, or I think has emailed or called you ahead of time. If you haven't had a call but you think you want one, please do email swim@levelwater.org and we'll be happy to discuss any requirements with you. Then I always get the safety welfare bit, which is always the fun one. We obviously at the lake, we have camping, all quite contained next to each other, and we have our swimmers in the lake. So I do ask, just for kind of safety reasons, if you or anyone in your household has had a stomach bug, vomiting or diarrhea within the last 48 hours, even if you feel a little bit better, it can still be contagious. So please do not attend or swim if you have had that within 48 hours of the event. Another, just a safety point, it is when you sign up in the T's and C's, but just to kind of reconfirm, if you are diagnosed with any heart conditions, we kindly ask you to head to the doctor and get an approval, and just talk through any concerns there with your doctor before you arrive, and let us know, obviously, for your own safety. We have lots of hand washing facilities. So we've got toilets, plenty of toilets and portaloos at the event. We have accessibility loos as well. We have soap within those, and then we also have additional hand washing stations. So you pump out the water with your feet and then you kind of wash your hands. So please do use them through the day. And we've got plenty of hand sanitizer as well at registration and throughout the site. So please do use those. And look out for one another. We're all a team in and out of the water, and hopefully if you've been before, you've kind of got the sense of that. If you see someone that perhaps is either looking a bit cold or looking a bit tired and perhaps needs a bit of care and attention, please look out for them, go and have a chat, come to one of us at registration. There'll always be someone at registration desk, so if you ever need to chat any concerns through with anyone, please do head over there. And yes, the Swimmer Hub, as we said earlier, it should have every bit of information that you need to prepare for yourself for the day. Don't fear not though, if your question's not answered, we're always there. swim@levelwater.org, or yeah, please do ask it today. Great. I think that's it for safety. We will be, just to kind of maybe head a couple more points before we go to questions. We'll be setting up a WhatsApp group shortly. So last year we set up a WhatsApp group where it was broadcast only, so we had everybody on there, and we broadcast some kind of logistical points and bits about Level Water as well. and Andy is going to speak shortly a bit more about level water and the charity. This WhatsApp group is just for kind of useful information coming through, and we'll set that up shortly. You'll have broadcasts before the event, and this is where if there's any kind of weather confirmations, if it's looking particularly hot, we'll send kind of guidelines. If it's looking wet, we'll send guidelines through the WhatsApp just to give you a little bit of information ahead of time. And then throughout the weekend then as well, we'll use that WhatsApp group as a bit of a broadcast. So if there's something happening that's of particular interest, we'll kind of note the WhatsApp group through the weekend. Perhaps you're on your tent and you have a look and see that something particularly wonderful is going on over by the campsite, then we'll kind of broadcast across the WhatsApp group. So yeah, urge you to join it if you feel comfortable joining. It will be broadcast only, so no, you won't get lots of different replies from everyone. It will just be from Level Water, and yeah, we'll get that set up very soon.
Fab, thank you, Lucy.
You're welcome.
And Jasmine has put in the chat the link to the volunteer sign up form. So if you have anybody who would like to volunteer, then that link is there, so you can get them to sign up to their hours that they're going to come and help out. So on to questions. Now, feel free either to, if you've got any questions, to put them in the chat, or to raise your hand, or to wave, and we can unmute you, or you can unmute, and we'll get those answered. But this is over to you to any questions that you may have about logistics or anything else on the day. Did you just wave, Tamsin?
Yeah, no, the only question I had was actually from family members who are going to come and support, but I'll send them the volunteer thing because I think they'll be there a while anyway. Is parking. They just wanted to check that they won't, if they ride by car, that they're not taking up space. It's for more important people. They were worrying about it, so I said I would ask the question. How much parking was there?
That's a very thoughtful question. and that often doesn't happen with transport, I have to say. Yeah, with Shepperton, we're really lucky. We do have a nice big field for car parking, and there is an overspill field. Obviously, we urge car sharing where possible, just to make sure that we do maximise the space. But yeah, that should be fine for any of your spectators. There should be space for a car there. Don't worry.
Right.
Is it worth saying that for spectators, we ask that they leave the site overnight?
Yeah.
So
I've warned them already, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be from whenever sundown till sunrise. If they can bear to be away between 9 and 5, then yeah, we would like them to leave the site so that we're not worrying about dozens of supporters as well as all the swimmers. But yes, that sounds fab.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Chris?
I just remember from last year, and well, hopefully it's not going to be like it is at the moment outside, but there's quite a walk from the car park to the actual where the swimmers camp. So Tamsin, if you've got anybody coming, just make sure that they know that wellies or Crocs or something like that, because it's the road, and it does get. I was there obviously overnight because I was doing the kind of night stint of volunteering, but you need a torch to get back to the campsite. It's not far, but it's just very. If it rains a lot, it gets very slippy and muddy. And I saw a couple of swimmers deck it. They were in their costumes, so it didn't really matter. But just warn anybody who's coming who hasn't been to the site before that it's a wee bit of. I mean, not a long walk, but you just got to walk along a track and just we're really.
Yeah, that's a really great point, Chris. Thank you. And yeah, hopefully, if the weather is indicating like a really wet time ahead, we'll send through some advice. But torches for the walk is a great shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it's what I'm going to note, Chris, because there's probably something we can do there to put some lights down the side of that walk. So,
yeah, just I think because some of the walkers, obviously if they just like pop back to go and get a dry robe, or guy who was just in his swimming trunks and he'd gone back to his car to go and get something, and so he was in flip flops, and it was obviously because it had rained literally the whole day.
It did. Yeah, thank you.
And not have because it gets great.
Fabulous. Any other questions from anyone? And if not, if you think of anything later, as we said, just email swim@levelwater.org. But if there's no other questions for the moment, I've got weird sun on my face now. I'm going to hand it over to Andy, I think, who's going to talk us a bit through fundraising.
Brilliant. Thanks, Angela. Yeah, well, it's lovely to have you both here this evening and everyone watching at home. Yeah, like my job really is to talk a little bit about what it's all about, like the cause and what the fundraising really achieves for us and kind of how to maximize it. So, I think the first thing I want to start by saying is just thank you for your amazing fundraising so far. We're genuinely really excited to have you as part of our mission, part of our team, part of Level Water. We think you're part of something pretty special. Because a wild swim relay, it's not just a swim. It's an experience that brings people together around something far bigger than just a single event. Every stroke you take will fund one-to-one swimming lessons for children with disabilities. So you're creating a lifetime of freedom, confidence, and joy in the water. So we're now, I think, as we've already talked about, in our 5th year at Shepperton. And we're expecting over 400 of you to get together, to swim together, camp together, make unforgettable memories together. We expect, in fact, I'm pretty confident we might be pretty close to it now already, that actually we'll raise well over £100,000 this weekend. And we will break the £500,000 barrier for the raised total at Shepperton so far since we started organising these events. Which is an incredible achievement and a huge amount of impact just at Shepperton as Wild Swim Relay. So for those of you who don't know, Level Water started in 2012 at one pool, and thanks to people like you coming to our events and fundraising and supporting us, we now help over 1,500 children swimming at over 250 pools across the country. We've made a huge amount of progress, but sadly, that demand is just growing. There are many more children that want our service than we can provide at the moment. Our waiting list is now at about 8,000 children, and it's rising. For most of the kids that we work with, around sort of 4 out of 5 of the children we work with do not meet physical activity guidelines, and nearly half of those who've tried to access swimming lessons in the past through sort of mainstream conventional means have tried and failed 3 or more times before they get to Level Water. I can even speak from a little bit of personal experience as a parent of a child with a disability who can't swim, and it's like the hoops that we've had to jump through, the work it's taken to try and get there, before I discovered what was available through something like through Level Water is kind of remarkable, and it's incredible. Mainstream group lessons really very often won't meet the needs of disabled children, and private one-to-one sessions can be incredibly expensive, hard to get to, or really just not available at all. So with your help, we're building a future where we believe every child gets an equal opportunity to play, move, and grow through swimming. We are now just 2.5 weeks away from Wild Swim Relay Shepperton 2026. And so this is really the peak fundraising period. I know that you've already been working really hard and you've already raised money for us, and we are so thrilled by that. But this is really the period where we see huge spikes in our fundraising as we kind of get to this period just before the event. So now is a really great time to follow up with your friends and family, let them know what you're doing, how your training's going, maybe share a little video, which is not something that everybody feels super amazingly confident about. But actually, sometimes maybe just being a little bit vulnerable and not doing something super polished and just talking to the camera on your phone and texting it to a couple of mates, putting on your socials, actually, like, that really helps. Actually, if it's not super polished, it just feels really authentic. And that's kind of what makes it magic, I think. Just speak from the heart and be yourself. And if you're really not sure what to ask and you're still struggling to kind of cast about and looking for kind of best advice, honestly, we think, generally speaking, like, personal beats reach every time. So I think a lot of people feel a bit worried about fundraising because maybe they don't have a huge network, or they've got a network and they've posted on their for Facebook account or their Instagram and said sponsor me, and they've kind of addressed it to their entire community and everybody they know. But honestly, if you just pick 5 to 10 of your closest friends and family and you just send a message to each of them and just explain, I'm taking part in this 24-hour swim relay event. £15 funds a swimming lesson for a child with a disability. Could you help me? You will be amazed at how easy it can be to kind of just get that, for people respond to that. So ask people directly, ask them personally, tell them why it's important to you. A couple of other things that are worth maybe checking out at the moment is making sure your Just Giving page is up to date, that you've updated a little bit of information about your training, that you're thanking people who've supported you. And if you are one of our superstar fundraisers, and you've already actually hit your fundraising target, which I kind of know for a fact that both you, Chris, and Tamsin have done. Actually, now's a really great chance to actually just nudge that fundraising target on your fundraising page up a little bit more to let people know that actually you're still open to receiving donations. So as I mentioned, £15 funds a level water swimming lesson for a child with a disability. £15 is a really tangible amount of money. And our headline sponsor, Vivo Barefoot, are match funding the first £15 that each one of our fundraisers gets. So that first donation gets doubled straight away. It's a really brilliant place to start. Our top fundraising teams this year, well, they're all in Vivo Barefoot shoes, which I'm never without mine. So we shouldn't expect you to be without yours. We've got loads and loads of extra help, advice, support on the Fundraiser Hub. And I'm hoping that Jasmine might post a link to the Fundraiser Hub in the chat. Thanks, Jasmine. We've got sort of some pre-written messages that you can use to share with your friends and family. We've got videos and case studies that you can share to kind of articulate, share the message, share what we do. Links to various places like Just Giving, how to set up your page with guides and things like that, if that's something you need extra help with. But you know what? You've also got us at your disposal. Myself, Jasmine, the whole Level Water team, we're all here to help make it as easy as we can for you to help support our mission. So if there's anything we can do to help, just drop us a line. We do have a fundraising dedicated inbox, fundraise@levelwater.org. But you know what? Just reach out to us by whatever means you can, and we'll find the message will find its way to the right person, and we'll do what we can to help. So what I'd love to do is just really finish with a story and tell you about just one of our swimmers, a very special young man called Suvir. Suvir is 9 and he lives with muscular dystrophy, which is a rare muscle wasting condition that gradually over time weakens his muscles. And when he's in the water, something very special happens. His entire being lights up and you can see it in his entire body. Suvir's mum, Tanvi, found out about Level Water because she wanted him to have a space where he could move, build strength, work those muscles, and frankly, just be a child, free from any limits or constraints. So we were able to pair him with one of our teachers, a lady called Emma, who designed every session just for him and around his needs. So it's basically, imagine it's sort of 50% swimming lesson, 50% physio, and 100% joy. But the bond that Emma and Suvir had really has been kind of really remarkable. He's been laughing, confident, playful. And really afterwards, his mother's told us that like friends of theirs who haven't seen him for a while really just can't believe the difference in him. Now, outside of the pool, life can be challenging. Tanvi's starting to prepare life for life as a full-time carer for him. They're searching for an accessible school. They're thinking about how they can adapt their home. But for those 30 minutes a week in the water, all that fades away. Everything lifts. He's not defined by what he can't do. He's learning new skills. He's playing. He's free. Tanvi's told us that if she could, she'd build a pool in her back garden just to keep giving him that joy. And really, that's the power of what you're doing. Your fundraising gives families like Suvir's that joy, that freedom, that hope. So really, from all of us at Level Water, thank you. Like, we sincerely mean that. We can put a numerical value on the amount of money you raise, and we often talk about the total. But to be perfectly honest, actually, what you're helping to fund is priceless. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks in Shepperton. We're very excited.
We're very excited. Thank you, Andy.
Shall we just see if there's any last questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, good idea.
No?
I will just say, just a sneak preview that we do have perhaps something by way of some entertainment this year that we didn't have last year. So it's very exciting. We might be dancing through the evening, basically. Chris, you're already there. Of course you are.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I was having to, dig into my inner jig last year when it was pouring with rain at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. We'll make
I
sure.
was turning our hot water bottles to anybody I could find.
Yeah, we will definitely keep you going with music this year, which is very exciting.
That's great. Are
We've
you
got to start manifesting the good weather, Chris. Got to stop.
Yeah,
stop
no.
talking about that's
I
just rain.
definitely am. I'm doing my kind of sun worship thing. Are you still thinking that camper vans are going to be parked in the camper van part of the car park at that end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. No, that's absolutely fine. I think that was any of the. Some of our volunteers had said that they'd filled in the form, but they haven't been contacted yet. So I presume you kind of people. Sorry, that's one of the other message.
I think you're breaking up slightly. I don't know if it'd be easier to do.
I think you're breaking up, but I think your question was basically you've got friends volunteer, they've signed up, they haven't been heard. No one's kind of got in contact with them yet. Yeah. So watch this space, they'll be contacted very soon.
And it might be worth getting them to have another look at the form, because they may have just done the generic, I'd like to volunteer, and now we've got the specific one for Shepperton. So if they could stick their details in that, maybe
I'll copy that over and put that into our WhatsApp group for anybody who
would be
wants to do
amazing.
that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Fab.
Fabulous.
All right, I'm going to shoot off because I've got another call coming through. Well, it's really nice to meet you guys, and we'll see you in a
Yes,
couple of weeks.
you all as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're so
Look
excited.
forward to meeting
2.5
you,
weeks.
Tamsin.
Yes, we'll be meeting you all soon.
Bye, love.
Thank you for
Bye,
joining
guys.
us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Wonderful. Tamsin, did you have any more questions? No, all good. Thank you so much for joining. I can't wait to meet you in a couple of weeks. And good luck to the exams as well.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. See you, Tamsin.